administration, what they tried to do was commendable in having a one source for information on the war. And people thought they were protecting a regime. They were protecting information that is very vital in the prosecution of the war. So changing of narrative, radio stations, newspapers, television stations, using Nollywood to create dramas that frowns at the usage of children in wars. This is very effective. The Americans have mastered this efficiently. When they want to do something, their first approach is to meet Hollywood, and they put all the situations down, and Hollywood begins to create movies for that purpose, so that those in position of power will know how to deal with such incidents when it does occur. And the public will know that if the White House is invaded, these are the expectations of the public. We need to go back to reorientation. We have a National Orientation Agency. I don't know who the new director is. He needs to key in. It's not just NEMA. Every radio station in the Northeast should have a jingle that children can sing into. Even the IDP camps should have moments where they are telling the children that it is wrong to be used as a shaheed, that there is nothing like paradise. So
far, I mean, you're focusing on that, and you know, I think that a lot of experts have been saying that. The question is, who's listening and what work is going on in that area? But, you know, even most of the efforts, let's even talk about the Northeast now. We're seeing that most of the efforts have been, you know, focused on the Northeast. Conclusively now, looking further away from the Northeast, we've been told to be more vigilant. From what you can see, as I know you're not an ordinary Nigerian anymore. When you're a counter-terrorism expert, you're no longer an ordinary Nigerian. But from what you can see in terms of preparations or preparedness on the part of the average Nigerian and our security measures we've put in place, and maybe in places of work, around churches, public places, for instance, are you satisfied with the measures that people are putting in place? Or do you think that we're beginning to relax because we have not seen plenty of attacks outside of the Northeast?
I'm not satisfied. We need to do more until it becomes second nature to us. But during the Civil War, every young Igbo man, or those of us who were child soldiers, carried in the back of our pocket coconut powder, because we believed that the federal government were going to drop mustard gas or some kind of chemical weapon. When you breathe coconut powder, you have chances of surviving. It became second nature. The civil defense will come in to existing schools in those areas and teach children how to dive, how to take covers when there is an air raid, and where not to be when there is an air raid. We need to galvanize our civil defense to go into schools in various areas, rural areas and cities, and begin to talk to the pupils. We need to teach members of the NYSC their responsibilities to the community and deploy them to these rural areas to go and reawaken the consciousness of being a Nigerian in the minds of these community people. Teach them about the pledge, teach them about our national item, teach them how to be obedient to the nation first, after God, and then teach them how not to be on the other side of the law. These children grow with these things in their mind, and we cannot just abdicate from our responsibilities. Parents teach their children through phones these days. There's barely an interaction. You come into a family house, everybody is eating dinner, The father is doing email with his phone. The mother is browsing with her phone. The children are on their iPads. There is no interaction as family. We have lost our family value. The churches now become blinded with making so much money that they've lost the responsibility of teaching morality to the hearts of man and woman. And we have come to accept it. Even members of churches will brag that, oh, our pastor owns this car, owns that. We are heading to hell. So I think we need to reopen these things. You made a key comment here. Are people listening? A responsible government must listen. Even if they don't invite me to come and advocate, bring in some ideas, they must take away from something I have said on this air, because I'm not paid to say it, and then create a think tank that can develop and expand it into something usable by government.
Well, that's where we have to leave it. Mr. Max Banite is a counter-terrorism and national security expert. We thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Sunrise Daily. Sunrise Daily will continue in just a moment. Do join us again.